our whole goal is to give that agent a really good experience, get them a quick commission, and our ultimate goal is to get the call on the next one.
Right.
Yeah, we want happy buyers and we want happy buyer agents. That's the cool thing about real estate is every strategy works as long as you're consistently doing the activity.
Yeah.
So it's just providing those options and then understanding what their what their problem is so you can provide the right solution, the right option.
Right. Thanks for joining us on another REI-NWA podcast. My name is Coley Bailey. I'm your host, and I'm an executive broker and team leader at the Lone Rock team at Fathom Realty. And today, this is episode 33, and I'm joined by Jared Martin.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
I'm glad to have you.
Yeah.
And man, we've been kind of in each other's spheres for, I don't know, a couple of years
No,
here.
absolutely. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah. But the topic is running the numbers. What's a good deal? And this is going to be a rookie nook, just so everybody is aware. We've got a program coming up that's going to be May 23rd, 2024. It's going to be a rookie nook. And so we're going to go over some basics on how to get into house flipping.
Yeah.
Essentially
Yeah.
what this episode is going to be about. I'm excited about this. So, everybody knows you make your money when you buy, not just when you sell, right? Because if you don't buy right, you can't profit when you
Upside
sell.
down. Yeah.
So before we get into this whole topic, I want the audience to learn a little bit more about you and where you came from, what you've been up to, and what you're doing currently.
Yeah, no, sounds good. Jared Martin, born and raised here in Northwest Arkansas. Went to the U of A, graduated in 2016, and actually got my real estate license my last semester of my senior year, and just strictly did real estate commission sales for about 2.5 years. And then in mid to end 2018, I got on with Ryan Russell, who actually owns Homestead Inc., that entity, and we started flipping properties together. So that first year together, we did like 2 deals, and then progressively been adding a couple more. And today we do anywhere from 8 to 12 flips here in the Northwest Arkansas market, and it's what I do full time. So
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. So you guys have been killing it with the flips. I mean, actually, I had a client that bought one of your houses in Siloam Springs.
Okay.
And they loved it. It looked
Good.
great. And
Yeah.
you guys did a phenomenal job. I mean, there were some things that came up in the inspection, and Ryan was like, "We're right on it. We're gonna get this handled." And I mean, top-notch job all the way through.
Awesome. No,
Yeah.
that's really good to hear. Yeah, we want happy buyers and we want happy buyer agents.
Yep.
So, yeah, we just don't cut any corners. We have a really good team. We have
Yeah.
guys that we call every time for the same remodel. And hopefully, that's producing a pretty good product.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was really impressed. And
Awesome.
so, okay, let's dig into this topic just a little bit.
Okay.
So, when people are thinking of jumping in and getting their first flip,
Yeah.
they run into the problem of, how do I find the house?
Right.
Like,
Right.
so what's kind of the process that, from kind of a beginner basic level, how do people need to think about going out and finding a house to flip?
Yeah, I think it really boils down to what kind of investor that person wants to be. So, like, the more that you can kind of dial in your parameters, your criteria, that's going to eliminate a lot of wasted time. It's going to eliminate that paralysis by analysis. So for us, we know exactly what we're looking for, and we just work that play over and over again. So for us, as we look at properties that are flip opportunities, some of our parameters are, single family houses that are under 2,000 square feet that are in Washington or Benton counties, that we don't really care about bed and bath count. But if we can kind of zone in on those criteria, that at least gives us a starting point.
Yeah.
And then you can go further in detail of, okay, I'm only going to call on people that have a larger equity position. I'm only going to call on a house that's a little bit older because I'm looking for deferred maintenance, because the only way that I'm going to flip this property and make a profit is I have to buy it at a certain discount.
Right.
So if I'm calling on new construction, there's no time for that equity to season.
Right.
And that's where you're going to really get kicked in the teeth. But if I'm calling on, this house type and this criteria type where it's going to better my chances of getting the deal put together,
Yeah.
I'm going to be more motivated to make that call.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you guys do you drive your neighborhoods first, or are you just looking at data? Are you looking at like ages of the property in locations, or how much hands-on are you looking to do?
Yeah, like driving for dollars. I mean, I'm always having my eyes out for any potential distressed property.
Right.
And I'm always looping around, hey, there might be something there, and I'll write down the address and then skip trace the number and call the owner.
Yeah.
But the way that I've done it is luckily I'm also a licensed agent, so I have access to the MLS.
Right.
And I can kind of build out that criteria and just pull out a large list, batch skip trace the whole thing, and just start calling it.
Yeah.
And I mean, the driving for dollars, that's probably going to be a higher productive type list because nobody really knows about that because you're actually seeing it. But as far as just efficiency, getting a lot of volume done at any one point in time, I like just hammering down the list. So that's how I do those parameters that I mentioned. That's my criteria when I'm building out the list. I pull it and just start contacting those property owners.
So you're just smile and dial, like you're just on the phones mostly.
Yeah. So, we have realtor relationships, and we have a win-win model to get, potential flip opportunities that way. But the bread and butter,
you guys have one of the best value props going to agents.
Win-win.
I mean, I see a lot of your emails,
Awesome.
come to the agents, and the way that you present it, for your agent partners, phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I don't see anybody else doing that.
Awesome. Yeah. And we're really passionate about that. Like, our whole goal is to give that agent a really good experience, get them a quick commission, and our ultimate goal is to get the call on the next one.
Right.
But our bread and butter really throughout the years has been just me hitting the phones, contacting property owners, seeing if there's any opportunities there, and then just staying in touch with them whenever the time is right for them to consider selling.
Yeah. And one of the things Stephen Young brought up on his, and this was really for picking up buy and hold and multifamily and stuff, but he just sent letters. Like, he was just doing mailers. Yeah. And he had pretty good success with that.
That's the cool thing about real estate is every strategy works as long as you're consistently doing the activity.
Yep.
So, I know the mailers work, the calls work, networking works.
Yep.
It just depends on what path you choose for you and just really leaning into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Okay, so, and by the way, I think a couple weeks ago, I was driving for dollars.
Yeah.
And I saw something. I was like, oh, this is a good one.
Yeah.
I got to get this address. And then I saw a Homestead Inc. truck out front.
Oh, yeah.
You guys already had it, and we're already working on it.
Hey, we've lost our fair share too, so we know how it feels on both sides. You're not alone.
But I loved that, actually, because I knew this was coming up, and
That's
I was
cool.
going to get to tell you about it.
That's funny.
Okay, so we've got let's say we've got an opportunity.
Yeah.
We've got somebody who has high equity, have a kind of a distressed property, and they have a problem that they need help solving, and you get an opportunity to go look at it. What are some of the basics on how you're going to estimate that out in order to know what you could even offer for that thing?
Yeah, so really even before we walk the property, I'm qualifying that seller on the phone.
Yep.
So how my initial call always begins is, hey, looking for so-and-so, just saw you own this property at 123 Main Street, just wanted to reach out and see if you might have any interest considering an offer. And then it's just a dance. I'm trying to see how they respond because I'm exploring to find motivation.
Yep.
So depending on how they respond to me, that's where I start qualifying that seller, to see if we really are a good fit. So if they say, no, I'm not interested and hang up, okay, well, I can go on to the next call.
Right.
But if they say, yeah, I would consider an offer, then I go straight into evaluating condition because I'm trying to find motivation.
Right, yeah.
So as I go into checking out condition, that's what I'm asking, hey, just roughly, do you know how old the roof or HVAC is? Okay, if those are newer. How about the interior? Have you done any updating in the last 5 years?
Yep.
And if you start finding some distress, that gives you, it's opening up some doors for the conversation.
Right.
Or say that's not, that's pretty updated, the big ticket items are relatively new, then, see if their timeline is important to them. Hey, we can typically close in 10 business days. Is that important to you? Yeah, we'd love that. Okay, why is that important to you?
Right.
Well, because I'm about to get foreclosed on in 10 days. Awesome. Okay, good to know. Let's get this to paper quickly.
Right.
And then after that, we do all of our offers. So I'm basically getting a verbal commitment. Obviously, we'll talk about price. I'd love to get that number out of them first.
Right.
Then at that point, I'm pretty much securing that deal. We'll get it on paper through e-sign, and we usually do that before I even meet the seller.
Even before seeing it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we'll do a subject to a walkthrough on the contract.
Okay.
Yeah. So especially if that's like on a concrete slab, we know general age of the big ticket items, and it's in a subdivision that we can comp pretty easy, that we can understand the value, the retail value fairly easily, then we're feeling pretty good about that offer price.
Okay.
And then that walkthrough is just making sure it's what we thought it was going to be.
Okay.
And then we continue to close.
Okay. Yeah. So then you must have some real rules of thumb for like you've got an after repair value, the ARV that you've estimated already.
Right.
So then what's your metric there? I mean, is it like this 70% rule? Is it kind of that rule of thumb or?
So, and by the way, that helps us on estimating the rehab costs by being under 2,000 square feet.
Okay.
So like really our single family houses that we flip are pretty close to the same play.
Okay.
You know, a big variable would be if it's a concrete slab or a crawl space,
Right.
because, you know, that can jump in cost or surprises. But that's really how we can kind of hone in our remodel cost. You know, the highest remodel that we're trying to stay at or be below is 50,000.
Okay.
You know, so if it's a light cosmetic update, that may be 15 grand.
Right.
You know, it just depends. But yeah, we're feeling pretty good about where that's going to land based off that square footage that we're prospecting on.
Yep. And then those major items that you ask questions about.
Yeah, and if it is, you know, say that they say the roof is 20 years old, okay, we're going to get a bid for the roof.
Right.
And we're going to factor that in accordingly.
Right.
And that's really kind of how we look at the deal. So as long as we know what that retail value is, that's what we're backing it in from.
Okay.
So we're qualifying that seller, understanding kind of where that remodel cost is going to be, backing in our profit to ultimately find what our offer price is going to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to try to pin you down on it. So
Okay.
is there a percentage that you guys are looking at of ARV before your repair costs?
Yeah. So how we look at it is if we can make, and it depends on the deal, but if we can make 12 to 20% return on the investment, that's where we're about to land.
Okay.
Or that's where we're wanting to land. So, you know, on a deal that needs just a 10,000.
So that's close to a new construction. That's like almost what guys are doing on new construction too.
Yeah. And that's why, I mean, we have to say no to a lot of deals because, especially in this market right now and interest rates, you know, we buy these with a line of credit. So our holding cost is higher. So we really got to make sure that deal makes sense. Makes sense, or we're passing on it.
Right.
But I would say 12 to 20% is usually where we land.
Okay.
Once we sell it on the back end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you're gonna backtrack from there. Let's say, you know, we think 35,000 in repair costs based on our conversation, right? And are you guys figuring that out on a price per square foot metric, or on those estimating those repair costs even without seeing it? That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, and Ryan has a guy that works for him full time that's on an hourly rate. So, you know, his labor cost is about to come in, you know, about the same on every deal. But how we really look at that is we take that retail value, we take 6 to 8% off the top, which is going to cover agent fees and closing fees.
Yep.
And then from there, we're qualifying that seller to see where that remodel cost is going to come in at. So say that it's 35,000.
Okay.
We're working backwards, and then we factor in our profit.
Okay.
So then you take your purchase price, your remodel, and your fees, and then if 12 to 20% is of that cost basis, that's how we're figuring out a return.
Okay.
You know, does that make sense?
Yeah. So are you doing the 6 to 8%, then the 12 to 20%, then costs?
No, we do the retail value, and then we take 6 to 8% off the top.
Okay.
Then we back out our costs.
Then you back out.
And then how much profit do we need on this deal?
Okay.
To find our offer price.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Just trying to figure out the order of operations there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and then that's a really good way too, because if they give you their ideal asking price, and we're backing into this thing, and their asking price is right in the middle of our remodel cost, like we'll still give you where a cash offer is, but luckily I'm also hold a license, and we can be like, hey, you could probably still get this on the open market.
Yep.
It's not going to be me as a buyer. We could probably find a buyer for you that could pay that.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
So it's just providing those options, and then understanding what their what their problem is, so you can provide the right solution, the right option.
Right.
Type thing.
Cool. Yeah, makes sense. All right, so we're going to have a lot more about that at our program, which is the Rookie Nook. Again, it's going to be on May 23rd, 2024. It's going to be at the Whole Hog Cafe in Fayetteville. Always a good time. Always some good barbecue.
Yeah.
We get started at 5:30. The doors open at 5:30. We actually get started, networking and hear it from Jared. And is Ryan going to be there? You think? Or is it just you? You flying solo on this one? Okay.
Yeah.
Just plan on this being Jared. But we'll do that at about 6. Okay.
Okay.
And then Q&A, all that good stuff. Make sure you're fully utilizing your REI-NWA membership to get those networking points in and meet all the people that are coming, Jared included, to the meeting. Also, remember, you can always catch all years worth of backlogs of our programs on the back end of our website when you are an REI-NWA member. And so that will always be available for you. All right. Well, with that, man, thanks for coming. There was some good tidbits in this one, good action steps that I think are really going to help people.
Awesome.
And yeah, it's the full program. You're going to have a lot of questions. You're going to have a lot of Q&A getting into that.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching this episode of REI-NWA. We'll see you on the next one.